All right, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Tonight we're going to be learning Maseches Shabbos Tav Kuf Chaf Aleph, and we're going to be starting about halfway up on Kuf Chaf Amud Beis, as we had a very long blot and a half last night, so just saved over a little bit here today. The truth is, it happens to be a great line of demarcation for the sugya anyways, and this sugya that we were speaking about yesterday will bring us to the Mishnah at the top, and then we will be starting a new sugya tonight about Amirul Akum. And then still some more fire sugyas about matzilim from an Aish and so forth and so on. And then we'll learn a little bit about the permissibility possibly of killing certain bugs on Shabbos, certain dangerous animals. And that will bring us all the way to the very bottom of Daf Kuf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis. Let's get started. We are at the two dots, halfway down on Kuf Chaf Amud Beis. There it says Osin Mechitza. We were talking about the prevention of fire by putting, let's say, a layer of containers to just prevent the fire from moving over. And if some of them had liquid in them, so some of the Tanaim were concerned about that. And the Gemara here says, Lamemra, the way we understand the Gemara up until now is that the Rabbanan savre gram kibui mutter. The Rabbanan hold that causing for extinguishing, an indirect version of extinguishing, you can't pull the lever on the fire extinguisher, but you can put the fire extinguisher there and let it explode in the heat and then have it put out all the fire. That would be permissible. They held gram kibui was mutter, but Rabbi Yossi said gram kibui was usher. And Rabbi Yossi held that this indirect version, in their day, basically, it would be a container of water that when fire heats up to a certain point, that container would then break and all the water would ooze out, seep out, and then it would put out whatever fire is there. So Rabbi Yossi was of the opinion that gram kibui is usher. So Rabbanan says gram kibui is mutter, and Rabbi Yossi says that gram kibui is usher. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. We heard the exact opposite in the following brisa. What does the brisa say that conflicts with our starting point here? The Tanya, the brisa writes, Osim nechitza b'kelim reikanim uvimlein she'ein darkam lishtaber. Tanakama writes in this brisa that you are allowed to make a mechitza. You can make a wall of utensils, both empty and full, as long as they are not ones that are likely to break. These are the ones that are full, that don't break. Klima tachos, things that are made out of metal. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Rabbi Yossi adds, Af kli kfar shichen v'kli kfar chananya ein darkan lishtaber. These additional types of utensils are also on the list of those which do not break when fire interacts with them. So what do we see from Rabbi Yossi? We see that Rabbi Yossi has more latitude. He has more things that are permissible to use as that mechitza to prevent fire from moving than does the Tanakama. Yet when we started looking back up at the two dots, the Rabbanan were the ones that were more lenient. And now here we see that Rabbi Yossi is more lenient. He allows more things. What happened to his shita where he held that gram kibui is usher? Why would Rabbi Yossi in this brisa say that you're allowed to put things there that are going to break potentially? There's more of a likelihood that they'll break. So this Gemara has a hard time with this. So then the Gemara says, V'chitema epuch masnisa. Maybe you'll say that in our Mishnah we should flip things around, and really the Rabbanan said that gram kibui was aser, and Rabbi Yossi was matir, because that would make more sense with the flow of the Gemara. Says the Gemara, you can't say that. Not only that, Rabbi Yossi, the brisa of the Ram Kamar, and in the brisa, maybe Rabbi Yossi wasn't really giving his own shita. He was just expanding the shita of the Chachamim. The Chachamim said metal is the kind of item which doesn't break, and comes along Rabbi Yossi and says, according to them, even other things wouldn't break as well. But you can't say that. Are you really able to switch the shitas? After all, the Ha'amar Rabba Bar Tachlifa Mishmei de Rab, Man Tana Gram Kibui Aser, Rabbi Yossi. Forget about the complexity in terms of the brisas themselves. You're not allowed to rearrange those because we have a specific and clear Masorah, a specific Gemara that states that Rabbi Yossi was the one who held the gram kibui was usher. So therefore, the Gemara has to pivot and it changes gears. The second to last of the thinnest lines on Kuf Chaf Amud Aleph, about 3/4 of the way down. Elo le'olam lo tepuch. Don't mess around the Mishnah. Our Mishnah is correct. That really the shita of Rabbi Yossi is a gram kibui is usher, that indirect extinguishing of a fire is problematic. Ubraisa, and the brisa that we saw that said that there were a number of things that were allowed to be used, so that is kula Rabbi Yossi. V'chasure mechzer of hachitani. And really, there's something missing in that brisa, and here's pshat in the brisa. Osin mechitza b'kelim reikanim uvemlein she'en darkan lishtaber. You are allowed to make a line of defense of both full and empty vessels, things that are not likely to break. And here is a definition of those utensils. Kli matachos ukli Kfar Shichin Ukli Kfar Chananya Nami Ein Darkal Mishtaber. Shereb Yosi Omer Af Kli Kfar Shichin Ukli Kfar Chananya Ein Darkal Mishtaber. Very good. So we cleaned up this slight potential misunderstanding, and we have concluded, like we started, that the Rabbanan were of the opinion that indirect kibui, that gram kibui would be mutter, and Rabbi Yossi was of the opinion that gram kibui was also. Now the Gemara is going to present a question against both the Rabbanan and Rabbi Yossi from a totally different area of halacha, and their intersection requires analysis. Whenever we make a comparison from one sugya to another, we always have to ask the question, is it really apples to apples? And that's going to be a very unique comparison here. Says the Gemara, 4 lines into the widest lines, Kuf Chaf Amud Beis. The Rami, the Rabbanan ad Rabbanan, the Rami, the Rabbi Yossi ad Rabbi Yossi. And here, as we saw earlier, the Shitas at the 2 dots, we saw the Shitas of Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanan. Here, we're going to see a conflict between this Brisa and both of those Shitas. Let's see what the Brisa says. The Tanya, Karesh Shahayasham Kasu Shahayashem Kasu Lo Al Bisaro. For whatever reason, a person wrote in ink, a tattoo, they did whatever they did. They wrote Shem Hashem, Yudke Vavke, one of the names of Hashem that's problematic in regards to erasing it. So they wrote one of Yudke, the name of Hashem. So that's the scenario. Harezeh, the Tanakhama says, Lo Yirchotz, V'lo Yisoch, V'lo Yamod, B'makom Hatinofes. You're not allowed to wash your hands. You're not allowed to use oil because that may also, as well, remove the Shem Hashem. V'lo Yamod, B'makom Hatinofes. You can't even stand in a place that's filthy. Yeah, what do? You have to catheterize. You got to figure it out. You're not allowed to go into a bathroom. I had a patient a number of years ago in the circumcision world. He thought he was Jewish. He was not, but he had the word Chai tattooed between his eyes, mamash, literally. And he did it so that when he looked in a mirror, it read properly from right to left. Now, that wasn't Shem Hashem, but had that been Shem Hashem, this guy would have been the prototype of this brisa. So then, here's a unique application of this idea. Okay, we understand that the Shem Hashem is holy. You can't walk into a place that's tinofes, a place that's dirty. Now, what about Nizdan Lo Tvila Shal Mitzvah? Let's say this person wrote Yud Kei Vav Kei on their arm. They're just doodling. They didn't pay attention. They wrote down Yud Kei Vav Kei. Now they want to go to the mikvah. What are you supposed to do? You're going to be arum. You're going to be naked in front of Shem Hashem. It's not appropriate. It's not right. So says the Gemara in the name of the first shita. This is the shita of the Tanakhama. Nizdan Lo Tvila Shal Mitzvah. Korech Alav Gemi V'Yored V'Tovel. He wraps something around his arm. We'll call it a band-aid for now. He puts some type of band-aid around his arm over the Shem Hashem. And then he goes down into the mikvah and he's toga. Yossi Omer, La'olam Yored V'Tovel Kedarko. You don't even need the band-aid. You can go in straight away. Ubilvad Shelo Yeshapshe. But you can't rub the name off. Now, if you look at this case of someone who had Shem Hashem written on their skin, and this debate between the Tanakhama and Rabbi Yossi about what they should do in the mikvah, where the Rabbanan were more strict, they said put on the band-aid. And Rabbi Yossi was more lenient. That's a direct contradiction to what we learned at the 2 dots. What we learned at the 2 dots is that the Rabbanan were more lenient by gram kibui. They said gram kibui is mutter. It's permissible to do act X, which may then lead to Y. I'm allowed to put the full vessel there, which may break, and then the water will put out the fire. Gram kibui is mutter. Oh, but then the contradiction is over here by the mikvah. You have to put the gemi on. Why do you have to put the gemi on? Go into the mikvah, do act X, and maybe act Y will happen, that the name will get rubbed off. Why do we care? It's reversed. The shitas of the Rabbanan are reversed. And the same is true by Rabbi Yossi, because we said that Rabbi Yossi was of the opinion that gram kibui is usser. You're not allowed to do act X, which will lead to act Y. And yet here it says go in the mikvah without a band-aid on. Why are you not covering Shem Hashem? I don't understand. Rabbi Yossi, you're contradicting yourself. So this was the Gemara's question. The Gemara answers, Shiny Hassam, it's different by the case of Shem Hashem. The pasuk says, that's what the pasuk says. You're not allowed to erase Hashem's name. Here's the drasha: Asiyahu da'aser, Gramashari. Adiyuk in the pasuk. The pasuk says the word lo sa'asun, and we make a drasha. The word Asiyahu da'aser. What's aser is mamish maisa. That's really what's prohibited. That's why Rabbi Yossi was of the opinion that it was permissible. But grama is shari. Says Gemara, Ihachi, if that's true, then hachanamik, see, by Shabbos also, we have a pasuk that has the word asiyah all over the Torah. Lo saseh kol malacha, asiyah da'aser grama shari. So still, Rabbi Yossi, if you want to answer that by the Shem Hashem, that the reason why he can be tovel, and it's only grama is because there's a pasuk that gives you a drasha. We have the same exact pasuk by Shabbos. So then gram kibui, you can't have it both ways. You're still a soser yourself. So says the Gemara, then really Rabbi Yossi gives a real answer, an answer that works for the moment. We'll see. Mitoch she'adam bahul al mamono isharis le'asi lechabuye. Really, be'etzem, Rabbi Yossi is of the opinion that grama should be mutter. Grama in anything on Shabbos should be mutter. That's really his opinion. But he has a rabbinic concern in regards to Shabbos, and that is a psychology that we've spoken about once before, which is that if you give him a little bit of latitude, if you say that you're allowed to do a little, then we're afraid he's going to put out the fire. So out of concern, that's what the Gemara says here, because Adam is bahul al mamono, so therefore, isharis le'asi lechabuye, if we allow him to do this middle of the road approach of gram kibui, of putting up a pitcher, a sealed pitcher that may melt in the fire and then put out the fire, it's too much. If we give him that much latitude, says Rabbi Yossi, then I'm concerned that maybe he'll just put out the fire directly. Fine. So that's a machlokas between the Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanan, and that's how we also solve the stira within Rabbi Yossi. That by the Shem Hashem, he's lenient because in general he holds that he's lenient by grama. Just that by Shabbos he has a chumrah. By Shabbos he's makbid because we're afraid that because people are bahul al mamono, that they may come to put out the fire entirely. Says the Gemara, hold on one second. Then I don't understand the rabbi's contradiction, because the rabbi said in the case of gram kibui that gram kibui is mutter, that indirect causation of fire to go out, indirect extinguishing is permissible, yet they required the band-aid to cover the name of Hashem on a person's arm when they go in the mikvah. So I don't understand. I don't understand. Over there by Shabbos, where a person is bahul al mamono, and there the Rabbanan held that it's mutter, Allah has kama v'kama here. Then all the more so it should be mutter. The svara of bahul al mamono doesn't, it works in an opposite direction here, because the Rabbanan paskin that gram kibui is mutter. So they're clearly not concerned about Adam bahul al mamono. And if that's the case, then we don't know how to answer the stira between the Rabbanan and the Rabbanan, because we don't have a distinction like Rav Yossi does. So therefore the Gemara says, hold on one second. Let's get more clarity on the case of the Shem Hashem in the mikvah. I don't understand this. But Tizbara, does their shita make sense to start with? Hi Gemi, Heichi Avi. This little band-aid that they're putting on top of Shem Hashem, so that when they go in the mikvah, for whatever the motivation is, erva, whatever it is, when they're putting on the band-aid, what's the goal? I don't understand. If it's super tight, let's talk about what we have nowadays, waterproof band-aids. We have waterproof tape here at home. You put it on, it's not coming off for weeks, and no water is getting under there. So if it's mahadek, we're 5-6 lines from the bottom, so then the mikvah won't count because you have a chatzitza. Now we know that ledina, midoraisa, the only time that a mikvah will not be kosher is if a person goes to the mikvah when it's ruba umakbid. They're covered by something which covers 51% of their body and they wish it wasn't there. Caked on mud. A total face plant, they're covered in mud, 51% of the body. You go to the mikvah like that, and if it's a woman who's a nida, and then she goes to the mikvah and she's with her husband, mamash chayv kares. The mikvah is a zero. Now here we're not talking about that, we're talking about less. So this is on a rabbinic level, but nevertheless, we don't, it's not l'chatchila. If a woman wears nail polish to the mikvah, that's not l'chatchila. We require of her to take off her nail polish, to brush out all of her hair. We'll learn in Maseches Gittin about the importance of brushing out hair. It is the base for the very rare shita for women to shave their head, even though it's not prevalent in our community, to my knowledge, that women do that. But the concern is that if there is a knot in the hair that's uncontrollable, it could be a chatzitza, and then the mikvah is really problematic. So what we do in our community is women very, very carefully brush out their hair. And okay, Shomer P'sayim, what are we supposed to do? You can only do what you can do. So that is our custom. Nevertheless, that's the Gemara's first question. Let's get a tfisa on the shita of the Rabbanim. If what they're saying is that this band-aid is put on tight and it's a chatzitza, and if not, then water gets in there, and then what's your motivation, Bichlal? I don't understand. What is your concern, Rabbanan, to say that you need to put on this band-aid? Then says the Gemara, if you're talking about chatzitza, hold on one second. Chatzitza, if what your concern is chatzitza, forget the band-aid. You have a chatzitza in the ink. You wrote on yourself. A woman wears nail polish. You wrote someone's name. You wrote Shem Hashem on your head. It's the same thing. Why isn't that considered a chatzitza here? So answers the Gemara. The reason why that's not a problem is because we have a case here, balacha. We're dealing with a case where it's lach, where it's still moist. And when ink is still moist, when you have two liquids that touch each other, it's like min b'mino. It's of the same, and therefore we assume that the water will have access to the skin. Titania, what's our Mari Makom to support that which is moist is not considered a hefsek? Titania, Hadam ve'adio ve'advash ve'achelev v'veishin chotzitzin lachem ein chotzitzin. That when we have these four things, blood, ink, honey, and chelev, that when they dry, they are chotzitz, but when they are wet, there's no chatzitza. Fine, so the problem is not the deal. But nevertheless, we still don't understand the mechanics of what's going on in the brains of the Rabbanan to say that you have to put on the Band-Aid. I don't understand what it does. So answers the Gemara, asks the Gemara one more time for lunch. Our question still stands with the Rabbanan. Elo Amar Rabba bar Rav Shila. Hainu tamayu de Rabbanan. What's the reason of the Rabbanan? Because Dikosabre Osir Lamo Bifnei Hashem Arum. You're not allowed to stand in front of Yud Kei Vav Kei, in front of Hashem's name, being undressed. It's not mechubad. You don't go to holy places without clothes on. You don't go to a Beis HaMedrash without clothes on, and certainly to be in front of Shem Hashem, it's totally inappropriate. So then, seemingly, what that means is that we have a looser version of the Band-Aid, so that water still can get in, so that the mikvah is kosher, good. And what we've done is we prevented the erva of one's body from seeing the Shem Hashem on whatever other part of the body it's on. Okay, let's continue. It says the Gemara, if that's true, if that's the reason of the rabbis that we're concerned about arum, about nakedness against Hashem's name, Mechlal, what does that imply about their counterpart, about Rabbi Yosi? Mechlal, Rabbi Yosi, Savar Mutar Lamo Bifnei Hashem arum. If you're saying that the reason why they need to cover themselves with this gemi, granted not tightly, but enough to cover Shem Hashem, is because you're naked and you can't be next to Hashem's name naked. But then if that's true, then what about, you're implying that Rabbi Yosi allows that? That's crazy. No, Rabbi Yosi would hold Demonach Yade Ilave. Let's say it was on your arm, you just put your hand on top of it. Like they can do the same thing. What's with the gemi? What's with this whole special contraption? Just put your hand on. If you know, that's what you're afraid about. Put your hand on top of it. I don't understand. She says more. No, the Rabbanan really want the gemi instead of putting your hand on top, because 2 lines from the bottom is in the mishlei v'shakile. Maybe your hand you'll feel the need to take off your hand. You're like falling over. You want to take your hand that's covering Shem Hashem to support yourself. We're afraid you're gonna fine. But if that's true, Rabbi Yossi Nami is in the mishlei v'shakile. Come on, like you got to get some clarity here. Like the Gemara is not giving us enough to really understand the sheet of the Rabbanan. It doesn't make any sense. Everything they're saying could also apply to Rabbi Yossi. But we know there's a machlokes. So what's the answer? Says the Gemara, what we've learned in this brisa about the mikvah has nothing to do with anything we've been talking about. Klal uchlal, nothing. Says the Gemara as follows. Ella, really here's what's happening. If you have the read, both Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanan would agree that you should use the gemi. They do. But where instead do they argue? They argue in the following case. Let's say you can't find one. And the only way you can find one is in a way where you're going to lose the opportunity to go to the mikvah today. And you'll only be able to go tomorrow. Rabbanan, Savre, turning to the top of Kufchaf Aleph Amud Aleph, the Rabbanan hold Tefillah Bizmana, Lav Mitzvah, that going to the mikvah on the right day is not a mitzvah. And because it's not a mitzvah to go to the mikvah on the right day, therefore, umehadrinan. Therefore, even if it takes you another half a day, you got to go find the gemi to protect Shem Hashem from arum, from being naked. Otherwise, it's not nice. You should totally cover up. But if, says the Shita of Rabbi Yossi, the Gemara continues, Rabbi Yossi Savar, Tefillah Bismana Mitzvah, sorry. It's Medina. You're obligated to go to the mikvah on time. Even if there's no gemi, under those circumstances, you go to the mikvah below mahadrinan, and you don't try to find a reed of some kind of Band-Aid to cover up the Shem Hashem. Asks the Gemara, the Sover of Yossi Tefillah Bismana Mitzvah. Wait a minute. You just said that in the brisa that speaks about mikvah with the person who wrote Shem Hashem on their body, that Rabbi Yossi was the opinion that does not require a reed against Tefillah Bismana Mitzvah. Is that true? Vatanya, the brisa writes, 4th line of Kuf Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph. These groups of people, they can go to the mikveh during the day. Nida v'yoledes, a woman who is a nida or who's completed being a nida and completed her birthing period. Tfilasan v'lai, they go at night. Balkari tova v'holech kol hayom kulei. But a person who's a balkari can go whenever he wants. It doesn't make a difference. Check this out. Rabbi Yossi Omer mina mincha ulamala eno. This is a girsa change. Eno yachol litzbol. What does Rabbi Yossi say? After a certain point in the day, mina mincha ulamala, you're not allowed to go to the mikvah. What if you're one of the people who has to go to the mikvah during the day? So then it's a stira. If you hold tefillah bisman as a mitzvah like we thought,
then yes, what do you mean mincha l'mala you're not allowed to go? You should be able to go whenever you need to go. Mincha is not a breaking point. That's not a new day. Stira Rabbi Yossi to Rabbi Yossi. Because the Rabbi Yossi that we thought above seemed to say that Tefillah B'zmana was a mitzvah. But here we see in this brisa that no, once we hit mincha, we're done. Answers the Gemara, great question. Answers the Gemara, it's a different Rabbi Yossi. That Rabbi Yossi in this brisa is not the same Rabbi Yossi. The Rabbi Yossi we're talking about is Rabbi Yossi. This Rabbi Yossi in the brisa that speaks about not going mina mincha l'mala is Hahi Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Hudahi. The Omar Daya Tefillah Ba'achrona. This is a shita that we saw many months ago in Maseches Nida. You may remember a strange Gemara there which indicates how many times a woman has to go to the mikvah if she's both a Zava and a Nida, 90 times, 96 times. Ayin Rashi here, we don't have a lot of time because there was extra Gemara today. That Gemara is referenced here. That's the shita. All you have to do is go to the mikvah at the end, says Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Huda. But you can't come in a mincha l'mala. So it's not a stira because it's two different people. And that's how the Gemara concludes that in fact, just to summarize what we've learned so far, when it comes to Shabbos, there's a machlokas Rabbanan and Rabbi Yossi in regards to gram kibui. The Rabbanan are matir gram kibui, indirect extinguishing, and Rabbi Yossi is oser. And the case that seemed to have been comparable, remember we said, is it apples to apples or not, is the case of the mikvah. And we answered, it's not really comparable at all because we're not talking about the bittul of Shem Hashem, of wiping it off. We're talking about nakedness in front of Shem Hashem with a gemi as it's contrasted with whether or not there is tefillah b'zman in the mitzvah. Ladina, we paskin tefillah lav b'zman mitzvah. We paskin that it is not a perfect requirement for a person to go to the mikvah exactly on that day. That said, as it relates to Hilchos Nida, we try very, very strongly to make sure that a woman can go to the mikvah on the same day. I remember when COVID was beginning at the OU, we spent collectively 50 hours, whatever the number was, trying to figure out the best way to help women get to the mikvah on time. What if a woman's uncomfortable? Is she allowed to be mocheles? What if he was makbel? All these different variations and iterations, not pasha. So even though it's true that Ladina we paskin that tefillah b'zman lav mitzvahi, even though we paskin that way, we're very makbel on it as it relates to Hilchos Nida. But there are exceptions to the rule. Next Mishnah, 8, 9, 10 lines down, Kuf Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph. Let's continue. Nachri Shabbat lechabos. There's, God forbid, a fire in someone's house. Non-Jew comes to put out the fire. Ein omer mil kabeh. You can't tell him directly, put out the fire. We know famously there has to be some degree of remez, right? But ve'al techabeh mipnei, you don't have to tell him not to put it out. Mipnei she'ein shvisas aleh. He's not my responsibility. He doesn't have Shabbos. It's also for him to keep Shabbos. It's shvisa. We have shvisas behema, shvisas kelim. There's no shvisas nachri. That's not a thing. They have their own set of halachos, and they don't have to keep Shabbos. They're not allowed to keep Shabbos. So therefore, when it comes to them, I don't have to stop them if they walk up. Let's say it's Shabbos, and the firemen come to put out. I don't have to stop them. That's obviously allowed. We're all the Gemaras we're going to talk about now are when there's no pikuach nefashos. Obviously, when there's pikuach nefashos, put out the fire yourself. Don't hesitate. If there's any suffix of it at all, put out the fire on your own if you can. If it's safe, otherwise get out of the house. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about with no pikuach nefesh here at all. Aval katan. However, when it comes to your child, to any child that's Jewish, Shabbat lechabos, he says, don't worry, I'm a katan, I'll put out the fire. There, no. Ein shomim lo b'mnei sheshvisas analem, because our children are our obligation. And we are not allowed to let our children do malacha intentionally. Amar Rabbi Ami b'doleika hitiru lomar kol hamechabe eino mafsid. During a fire, one is allowed to say, one is allowed to say to a guy, not that I want you to put, not kabeh, please extinguish, but you're allowed to say the line, you won't lose out if you put out the fire, subtly implying that the fire should be put out, and as well that I will reward you accordingly, right? So that's what the Gemara says. Name a Misaile, maybe we can bring a raya from our Gemara. What's our Gemara? From our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says, Nachri Shabbat lechabos, ein omer lo kabeh ve'al tichpeh, ibnei shein shvisas analeh. That's what our Mishnah said. What's the inference there? Says the Gemara, kabehu delo amrina. You're right. I'm not allowed to tell him kabeh. I'm not allowed to tell him to extinguish it. What I am allowed to do is to say, maybe I could say that our Mishnah is a raya. Says the Gemara, no, there's no raya from our Mishnah because we must say, look at the next words in our Mishnah. You just can't learn anything from our Mishnah because it has opposite inferences. Whenever one Mishnah has opposite inferences, as does this Mishnah with this particular case, here's what the Gemara says. This Mishnah is not a Mari Makom one way or the other. This Mishnah was never intended to answer that question because when Rabbi Yehuda on us, he put it together, he left implications in both directions. And he would not do that if his intention was to teach us a particular din, and therefore our Mishnah is not a raya one way or the other. And therefore, from this Gemara alone, we don't know if we can say that line. that if one were to be mechaber, they would not be matzah. We don't know. Tana Rabbanon, Maisa, there's a story just about halfway down. Kuf Chafal Famaral, the Nafla Dleika Bechatzero Shel Yosef ben Simoy. Yosef ben Simoy, God forbid, Nebuch had a fire in his field. B'Shichin, in the city of Shichin. Vo Anshe Gistra, there was an army of people Shel Tzipori, from Tzipori, who came there Lechabos. And non-Jews, they came to put out the fire. Mipnei she'afterufis shel melechaya, because this person, a yid, was a government official. So they were taking care of him. They didn't have what we have. And he said, no, just let the house burn. It's Shabbos. It's a pasnish. I don't want you to do any malacha. Which, of course, we already learned is not the din. I don't have to stop a guy from doing a malacha if he's doing it on his own volition, even if it's to my bed. I didn't ask him, right? It's totally mutter. V'naselo nes, and Karesh Baruch Hu blessed him with a miracle. We are the geshamim v'kibu, and then all of a sudden it started raining out of the blue, and the fire was extinguished. Le'erev shiger l'chol echad mehen shtei slaim. He said all the firefighters who were bringing the buckets, he sent them all 2 coins. Ule aparkos, and the person who was in charge of all of them, shabahen chamish, and he gave him a lot of money, he gave him 50. When they heard that he told them to stop putting out the fire, amru lo hayat tzarich lakat. That's not right. The din is that once they're we don't tell them al techabe. We don't tell them not to. That's up to them. We don't tell them that they don't have to. They can do it. So that is obviously when we're in our neighborhoods with our homes so close together, with so many kids on our board, there's no messing around. If there's a fire, you call 911. Anyways, that's a din d'Rabbanan. Certainly, if you're calling from a cell phone. Anyways, it's a din d'Rabbanan. We don't mess around. If there's too many people around, you would have to be like 100% sure that no one would get hurt. You have to live in the middle of nowhere and know that everyone's out of the house. So, halach l'maaseh, if there's a fire, please call 911. But this is a halachic nuance for us to learn principles from about amir la'akum, and we are not obligated to tell someone that are not obligated to tell a guy to stop putting out a fire. But by our children, we are. And that brings us right to the next point. Our children are our responsibility. And therefore, if they just say, don't worry, Abba, I'm a katan, I'm going to take a bucket of water and pour it over the fire that's starting in the kitchen, we do not allow them. Shamas mina, what is implied from here? Katan ochel nevelos bezdin mitzuvin l'frisho. If there's a child who picks up a nevela, a treif animal, a nevela, I should say, an animal that's not shechted properly, whatever the case may be, so bezdin must be mitzuvin to be mafresh, and that's a big machlokas in the Gemara elsewhere in Shas. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, the reason over here why our case is different than that case, without even entering into that machlokas, is bekatan osa l'das aviv. The katan is doing it specifically because he knows his father. He knows his father wants the fire to be put out. That's why he's doing it. It's al das aviv. Says Gemara. Well then. But why is that different than the firefighters who are non-Jews? I have to stop my child, Shvi Sasim, but my child's doing it out to me. So says the Gemara, how could you allow a non-Jew to do this? It's the same thing. He's doing it on my das. What's the difference? Says the Gemara, no, he's not doing it for you. He's doing it for whatever motives motivate him. He enjoys putting out fires. He gets paid. He cares about safety in general. Whatever he is, he has stock in the insurance. Whatever it is, he doesn't want this fire to exist, and it's not because of you. So we make a chakira here. It's a lamdasha chakira, simple, but one that is an important distinction. That when a child does something for me, if he's a katan and I am his father, so then no matter what his motivations are, we treat it as though they belong to the father. But when it's a nachri, even if his motivations are specifically for me, as they were in the story above, with the, who was it? It was Rabbi Yosef ben Simai. So there, no matter what, by the nachri, we instantly assume that it's a daite denafshe. He's working with his own intentions. Next Mishnah, 7 lines from the bottom. Kuf chaf alef amad alef. Kofin k'ara al gabe haner. Bishvil shelo tochas bekora. We've seen this Mishnah, I believe, 3 times already in the Maseches. This is the actual Mari Makom. That when there is a candle that is burning very, very hot, and you're afraid that the top of your roof is going to catch on fire, you're allowed to put something on top of it, not in a way where it will deprive the fire of oxygen and put it out, but above it enough to prevent fire from your house catching on fire, and at the same time allowing the flame to stay on, to stay lit. You can also take a container and put it on top of tzoa shel katan. And you can also put it on top of a scorpion so that it doesn't bite you. Rabbi Yehuda, notice who's talking here. Rabbi Yehuda, very important. Sometimes we gloss over names. Here it's very important. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai be'erev. He says, I'm concerned that you might be chayav chatas in all of these cases because this is classic Rabbi Yehuda l'shitaso of malach she'en tzricha legufa. I'm covering this thing, and I just trapped an akrab. I just trapped the scorpion. But he holds its chayiv. So then, according to this, Rabbi Yehuda has a preeminent Tana in his stead, which is Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, who held Chosheshani. He was concerned that maybe this was a chatos because malach hashen tzricha legufa is chayiv. Very important marimakom within the sugya malach hashen tzricha legufa. Says Gemara, very unique story. There were three rabbis: Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, Rav Chanan bar Rava. Iklu lebei avin dimin nishikya. These three rabbis went to the house of Bei Avin. The Rabbi Yehuda, the Rabbi Yirmiyah, to the first two rabbis who ostensibly were given a little bit more respect. So to these two rabbis, Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, turning to the top of Kuf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis, Aisulei Poraisa. He brought them a Puriasa, and we learned about this already, that the word Puriasa is a bed, referencing the idea of Purvu. But here, it's not, obviously wasn't talking about that. Take a look at Rashi, Dibra Maskil, Aisuluhu Puriasa, Mitos Leisheval, and they used to do like a side lean on their these little mattresses, these little soft spaces, so that they could eat their food on their left side. So they gave it to the first two rabbis, but the Rav Chanan bar Rava, Lo Aisula, he didn't get one. Okay, he also didn't forget that he didn't get one, so he's going to be the player.
Couches.
Yes. Ashkeche masne lebre, and he saw that his father, that Avin, the host, was teaching his son. The altsoa shel katan. He was quoting our Mishnah. The altsoa shel katan, but he added two words: mipnei katan, because of the katan. We might have thought without the words mipnei katan, so shel katan. Objectively, whenever there's a dirty diaper, objectively you can cover it without discussing it. It's just easy. But here, these two words, mipnei katan, implies that I'm concerned what the katan's going to do with it. But if the katan was going to go to sleep until after Shabbos, maybe you wouldn't be allowed to touch it. These two words are vital. They add so much. So then, Amar Le, then Rav Chanan lets off some steam. Amar Le, Avin Shatya, Avin the fool, Masne Shetusa Livnei, he's teaching ridiculous things to his child. Hi atma muchenes leklavim. If you have a dirty diaper, that's considered muchen leklavim. Forget about our Mishnah. We're going to get back to how he can contradict our Mishnah. Our Mishnah says that that's a case where you're kofes akli. Yet here he says that it's muchenes leklavim. Take a look at Rashi. Rashi is on the third line. Dibur hamaskal v'halam muchenes leklavim. V'lama li lichpos kli yifnu hamisham sharei ru'u. Just pick up the diaper and move it out of the way, because it's shaykh for a dog. Dogs may be interested in that food, or other animals may be interested in that food. Shouldn't have to require that at all. If you're going to tell me, no, but the baby hadn't gone to the bathroom yet, so it's muksa ve'etzem, because it was not iskatzoy leben hashmashos. It wasn't ready to be available for that animal before Shabbos. That's not a concern at all. Why? Because says the Brisa v'hatanya naharos hamoshchen u'ma'ayanos hanovin harehen karagle kol adam. You have rivers. The river flows. Are you allowed to touch water and drink any water out of the river? It came from a far place away. It wasn't muchan for you on Shabbos, but we don't care. Take a look at Rashi. Rashi, we are at the first of the shortest lines. Dibur hamaskal naros hamoshlim karagle kol adam. You're allowed to walk in there, no problem. Mishum demidi denayid, the water moves. The lo kani shvisa, it wasn't in your location before Shabbos. The alpha pishavami chutzatchum, even though it came from outside 2,000 amos. Kol adam olichan amakom she'irev lo. If it's in your eruv, you can go there. Leilech, you're allowed to go there. Mihu. Okay, let's just stop here in this Rashi. But the point is that when the water flows from outside of your, so same thing with the diaper. We didn't know which molecules of water we were going to have on Shabbos. We had no idea. The river flows. It came from 20 miles away by the time of Shabbos morning. So I didn't know when the kid was going to go to the bathroom, but it doesn't make it muksa. So that means that you're still allowed to move it for the animal, and still we don't need to cover it with a kli. We'll get back to our Mishnah as to how it fits in a minute. Says the Gemara of Ela Hechi Asnie. So Avin says back to the angry Rav Chanan, what should I say? He said, Ema, you got our Mishnah wrong to start with. It wasn't talking about the Tzova Katan at all. What was our Mishnah talking about? Ema, al Tzova shel Tarnagolim mipnei Katan. No, it's the fecal matter of like a chicken, of a tarnagol, and that is something which is not shaykh to other animals to eat. It's not edible in any form. And children who don't know any better would play with anything. They don't know the difference. They were afraid of the kid. So mibnei katan, that's what our Mishnah was talking about. The typically to have a graf shel rei. Why don't you say that it's a graf shel rei? And if it's a graf shel rei, if it's just fecal matter, then you should be able to move it no matter what. The chitema graf shel rei agav mana'in, that the only way you can move a graf shel rei is with another kli, but ihu gufe lo, but you can't move it directly. That's not true. You are allowed to move it directly. How do we know? Because v'ha Hahu achbar de ishtekach be'isparmeke de Ravashi. There was a mouse, or one of many mice, that was commonly found in the spice cabinet of Ravashi's house. The Amar Lahu, he said to his servants, Nekutu b'tusise, pick it up by its tail, ve'avkuha. What do we see there? Picked it up by its tail. So what do we see? We don't need a kli. You can pick it up barehanded. Says the Gemara. That is only talking, our Mishnah is only talking about the ashba. The reason why in our Mishnah you had to use a kli is because it wasn't in your house in your spice cabinet. It was outside in the ashba, in a garbage pile. So in the garbage pile where really no one's really ever goes there, but there you're allowed to cover tzoev to prevent whatever the case, maybe to prevent kids from attacking it. That's permissible. But you are allowed to pick up tzoev in your house. That's fine. Just in that outside place in the ashba, you're not allowed. Says the Gemara, "Katan be'ashba." My boile, I don't understand. You created this case where a katan was the one who was our concern. What's he doing on a pile heap? Where are the parents? What are you letting this kid climb the garbage dumps for? Crazy. Says the Gemara, "B'chatzer." No, it's in his courtyard. But then if it's chatzer nami grav shel reihu. But if it's in your chatzer, then it's no different than the spice cabinet. It should be mutter anyways to move directly without a kli. Which one is it? Answers the Gemara finally with an answer. Be'ashba shebechatzer. Within your chatzer, where your child plays, there is a garbage can, and within the garbage can there is an akrav. There is a scorpion, or there's graf shel tarnagle, whatever the case may be. In all of those cases, our Mishnah thus requires that we cover it with a kli. The al akrav shelo tishach. We're going to learn a little bit about the halachos about killing animals on Shabbos. We're allowed to cover a scorpion so that it doesn't bite you. 1/3 of the way down at the 2 dots. I'm Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi called hamazikin neheragim b'Shabbos. Anything that is dangerous can be killed on Shabbos. You must see Rabbi Yosef. Wait a minute. Chamisha neheragim b'Shabbos. Only 5 things can be killed on Shabbos. What are they? Ve'eluhein. Zevuv shebe'eresh Mitzrayim, a certain fly in Egypt. V'tzira shebeninveh, a certain dangerous hornet in Ninveh. The akrav shebechadyav, a scorpion in the city of Chadyav, a nachash shebe'eretz Yisrael, a snake in Eretz Yisrael, the kelev shota b'chol makom, and any dog that's in the category of shota, any crazy dog. Money. Wait a minute. Whose shita is this? Is this Torah Satanoim? The shita of Rabbi Yosef. Who taught it? Even with Rabbi Yehuda, if you want to say it's Rabbi Yehuda, ha'amar malach Hashem tzricha leguva chayv alei. Not allowed to do that unless it's mamish pikuach nefashos. You're not allowed to do that because it's a malach Hashem tzricha legufa. Elalav Rav Shimon. It must be Rav Shimon. The hani hu deshari acharini lo. He only let some of them and not all of them. Amar Rav Yirmiyah uman neimalan deha mitarza mitratztahi. How do you know that this shita of Rav Yosef, this concerning brisa that only 5 are allowed, not all the haragin, not all mazikim can be killed? How do we know that it's a real brisa? Dilma mishabeshtahi. Maybe it's a brisa with no real teeth. Somebody misquoted it. Somebody made it up. Maybe it's not the real thing. How do we know? Says the Gemara, last of the short lines, Kuf Chaf Aleph Amud Beis, Amar Rav Yosef, Anamas Nisala. I learned this directly. The Osivna, and I have an answer for you. The Osivna, and I taught it. The Anam Matritzna, and I have a parish for you. When does it say all of these are true? Biratzu Acharav V'divrei Hakol. When an animal is chasing you and it's dangerous, you can kill any animal you want. No different than a human being who's chasing you to kill you. We have a din of rodek, but these animals are lower on the food chain. You can kill any animal on Shabbos as it relates to hilchos shchita. You can kill the animals outright, barehanded with a knife, whatever you need to do. They're chasing you, it's dangerous, no problem at all. Tani Tana Kame de Rabba Bar Rav Huna, Hahorig Nechashim Akrav B'Shabbos Ein Ruach Hasidim Nochein. He didn't agree. He said if you're killing Nechashim and Akrav on Shabbos, the Ruach Hasidim is Ein Noche. It's not Kishma. They said to him, those Chasidim, they're the ones who are wrong. What do you mean I'm the one who's wrong? They're dangerous. They're Nechashim V'Akravim. Says the Gemara, Upliga de Rav Huna Chazi Elu Gavar the Kakatel Zibura, that Rav Huna saw that a person killed a bee on Shabbos, and he said, tongue in cheek, Amar Lei, Shilim Tinhu Lekulu. Did you kill off the whole hive yet? Is everybody dead yet? Are you done? You should not be killing these animals unless it's life and death. So there's a little pushing back here that if the animal's mamish not going to kill you, so then there's a string of thinking, Rav Huna among them, that you're not allowed to kill the animals. You can only kill animals that you are choshesh are really going to hurt you. Tanu Rabbanan, these dam nulon nechashim ve'akravim hargan. If you actually have the opportunity, they approach you, a nachash and akravim, snakes and scorpions, and you kill them. Biyadua sheniz dam nulon hargan. You should know that it was mina shamayim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give you the opportunity to keep things safe and kill these animals. Lo hargan. If the animals didn't come to kill you, they walked right by you. So then, biyadua sheniz damnu lo hargo. You should know that these animals were out to get you. But with a qualification. That's when they're hissing. When the animals are hit, when a snake is hissing at you, that's a little bit more dangerous. So under those circumstances, that's when you can rely on this chakira. If you kill it, then you've done a good thing. And if it walks by you and you don't kill it and you live, then you were zocha to a nes. Rabbi Abba bar Kahana. There was a snake that fell into the Beis HaMedrash from the ceiling. Amad Nivsi, a person from Eretz Yisrael, Rashi says he's placed in Eretz Yisrael. Amad Nivsi echad v'hargo. This person from this city got up and killed the animal. Amar Rabbi, Pagabo Kayotzebo. This person with this snake was killed by someone just like him. But nobody knew if that was a compliment or an insult. Nobody knew if he was referencing that which he did, which was mutter, or that which he did was, oh, really good job. You're just like the snake. So which way was it? Ibayalu, says the Gemara, 3/4 of the way down. Ibayalu, Pagabo Kayotzebo. To Shapir Avid? Although, did he do good or did he not do good? Which one is it? He killed the snake. Good job. It was Shabbos. Did you do right? Did you do wrong? Tashmad Rabbi Abba Bered Rav Chia Bar Abba Verab Zera Habu Yasve Akila de Rav Yanai. These two Rabbanim were visiting Rav Yanai. Nafak Milsa Mi Benai. They started talking in Torah. Rav Yanai Ma'la Laharog Nechashim V'Akrabim B'Shabbos. What is the din in regards to killing snakes and scorpions on Shabbos? Amar Lahu Tzira Ani Horeg. I'm going to kill a bee. Nachash ve'akrav v'kol. Again, of course I'm going to kill them. So says the Gemara, okay, but like maybe it's not direct, right? The Gemara is pushing back a little bit. Dilma lefi tumo. Maybe just like you happen to be walking, and as you step on the head of a snake and you kill it. Maybe it's not like stomping on the head of the snake and killing it mamish. Maybe it's just a little bit more one stage back. I'm just regular walking. Let's say you're walking down the street, and there are a million ants across the sidewalk. Are you allowed to just walk? So if it's lefi tumo and the animals are dangerous, maybe, but stam, presumably not, right? That's what the Gemara is going to imply here. Dilmo lefi tumo, maybe just as you're walking to Amr Yehuda, rok dorso lefi tumo. If a person if a person's walking and there's spit on the ground, and you happen to step on top of it and work it into the ground, so that otherwise could be mashvegumos, could be chofer, could be choresh, could be a whole bunch of things. But it's mutter if it's lefi tumo. Only it's just because you happen to be walking in that path. That's not usher. The Amr of Sheshes nachash dorso lefi tumo. You're allowed to kill a snake just by walking. All of these can be killed lefi tumo. So that's seemingly what the din is that if it's not dangerous, you can't kill it. If it is dangerous, of course you can. If it's not dangerous, then you can kill it lefi tumo, just by walking. Lefi tumo is a phrase that is found in other frames of halacha as well. We'll get to this by the halachos of basar b'chala, by the halachos of treifa potentially. Where did this meat come from? You're allowed to trust a goy, mesiach lefi tumo. So let's say, for example, a lot of people did this. I personally did this. I called the company that makes Oreos, and I asked them a theoretical question. This is even worse than mesiach lefi tumo, but I asked them, if I'm deathly allergic to milk, can I eat your Oreos? So they said the regular Oreos have no milk in them. They are made in a plant with other products that are made with milk. So that's even more severe. But mesiach lefi tumo is when someone says something in passing and they have no reason to lie. None at all, we trust them. So that's one application of mesiach lefi tumo. So here, the lefi tumo is you're just walking. As you walk, you're killing the animals. Let's finish up for tonight with the last few lines. We are 5 lines from the bottom. Let's finish up. Abba bar Marta de Habu Abba bar Minyumi, Haba maske be Debe Reish Galusa Zuze. So Abba bar Marta, or who was Abba bar Minyumi, he owed some money to the Reish Galusa. Aisuhu, they brought him to the Reish Galusa, Kamatsarle, and they were chappering him to pay up. Habashadi Roka, and there was some spit that was transmitted here. Amar Lahu Reish Galusa, the Reish Galusa said, Aisu Monas and Schifu Ilave. Get a kli and cover up the saliva so that we don't step on it and rub it into the ground by accident. Amar Lahu, the person who was in debt, he said out loud, Lo tzrichto, you don't need to do that. Hachi Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Rok dorso lefi tumo. The din is that you are allowed to just walk around the house. If it happens to be that you walk on a little spit that's on the ground, that's not a problem because it's lefi tumo. Amar Lahu. So the Reish Galusa said to the people who were giving a hard time to this guy to pay back, this person is a Talmud Chacham, and Shavkuhu, and they relaxed on him in regards to his debt. They probably still obligated him to pay, but they relaxed on their activities to try to pressure him. Let's stop here for tonight. Mr. Hashem will pick up tomorrow night with Av Kuf Chaf Beis.
Wishing you all a beautiful, beautiful night.